So here's a great scene from West Point back in 1962. It's Douglas MacArthur giving his famous Duty Honor Country speech to the Corps cadets. I think we have a couple West Point grads here, perhaps. Now, this line from his speech reads, "And through all this welter of change and development, your mission remains fixed, determined, and inviolable. It is to win our wars." He was speaking to the Corps cadets in 1962. And when he said that, it probably resonated with the Corps cadets. Imagine what Douglas MacArthur's experience was with winning wars, with World War I, World War II, Korea. Winning wasn't easy, but it's pretty clear what you had to do to win a war under those conditions. You knew who the enemies were, you knew where they were from, you knew what you had to do to attack them, and you kind of knew when you were winning and when the war was won. Here's some great scenes from those years. Pearl Harbor, being attacked. We knew when we were attacked back in World War II as an example, and we knew what we had to do. We mobilized our resources, stood up a huge army, took it to Europe, on to Berlin, took it to the Japanese, on to Tokyo, and we knew when we won. There's actually a peace treaty signed, if you can see in this slide, on the Missouri and with the Germans. There was parades. You came back, you had these parades, you kissed the nurse, great slide there, and you went home and you won the war. And it was clear that we had won and we could move on. Contrast that with today's threats and challenges. Let's look at 9/11, for example. 9/11, I know most of you in this room probably were a little bit too young even to remember that, as incredible as that sounds to some of us older folks. We didn't even know who attacked us. We didn't know who the enemy was. And given that, we didn't know what to do, how to respond. It was a real challenge. And when we did respond, we responded in ways that we would have never guessed. In late 2001, we sent a handful of Special Forces operatives on horseback in Afghanistan. I would have never dreamed when I was coming up in the military that we would be fighting a future war on horseback. But there we were. And it forced us to play defense at home. The older folks here might remember being late to the airport and sprinting through what we used to call the O.J. Simpson and making it to our plane and jumping on the plane within a few minutes. This security stuff, taking your shoes off, you know, the full searches and scans, that didn't happen until we really started to play defense against this new threat after we were attacked there in 9/11. Another challenge is, how do we know when we win? You look at this slide, was it, in the context of some previous wars, was it the fall of the Taliban? Was it elections in Afghanistan, Iraq? Was it taking out Osama bin Laden? Was it keeping the threat level of terrorism at some acceptable level? Is every day a victory that we aren't attacked? Hard to know when we're winning in this type of fight. And again, as I said in my disclaimer, we're going to kind of conflate insurgency and terrorism for the purposes of this class. But understanding, you know, I've got one of the leading experts on terrorism in the room today, so I'm a little more conscious of that. But differences between the two, but we're going to kind of address them both together. So let me start out, you know, for the rest of my hour, I'm going to talk about insurgency and terrorism and the challenges for the counterinsurgent and the counter-terrorist that's trying to go out there and address these threats. And I'll go through a number of these challenges and hopefully have a little time for questions.